Good morning. We're getting the sprayer ready. I sprayed some corn, and then we had some of this home farm corn that had started to get pretty tall. And I'd actually forgot to turn the planter on, the pump on. I stopped to check some corn, and if you stop with my pump, she'll time herself out because she's not a wheel-driven pump. She's a hydraulic pump, so I can change my rates on the go. And like 2 or 3 passes, I forgot to click the switch to turn it on, and then I realized it, and they were starting to look a little weak. So I put the drop nozzles on. We had some nitrogen left in the tank, so I went ahead and dribbled probably, I don't know, 30, 40, like 40, 50 acres. Got that done, so now I am switching her all back over because some of the other early corn I planted is getting pretty tall. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that, spray that, and who knows how much corn I'll spray today. I like spraying it now instead of doing the post-emerge or the pre-emerge because it just doesn't seem to work, like I said. So getting her cleaned out, putting some water in her. I'm going to run the tips, run it 25, 30 gallons, just run it through the boom, make sure all the nitrogen's cleaned out, that way I don't burn any of the corn when I'm spraying. And then load her up. My brother, he's got banker's hours. I don't know where he's at, but he'll be up here. What time's banks open? 9? He'll probably be up here around 9. So he can start bringing me water, chemical, and we can start knocking some of these acres out. I don't have a lot to spray, but I'm gonna get a little bit ahead just in case I have to go spread or do something. That way my own stuff is kind of caught up a little bit. So that's how I work it. All right, you'll see. Can't say good morning because it's 10:30, and everybody says that. So I have been spraying corn this morning. I sprayed probably 400 acres yesterday. I probably sprayed 200, 300 a couple days before that. And I'll probably I've already started, I've probably knocked out 100 so far. I'll probably get 200 more done today. And then some of the other corn's young. I'm gonna let it get up a little bit taller. So I'm pretty much caught up after this tank of what I want to do. And there's one field I think that is a little bit too wet to get into, and I don't want to run it up. I did the in row, put a little dent in between the rows, so I'm probably going to hold off on that. So other than that, I got to return the pump that I got for this thing because come to find out it wasn't the pump. The hose that runs inside the tank, the band had broke and the hose had dropped in, and that wasn't allowing her to suck in. So I never actually looked up in the tank, but the John Deere guy, Steve, was here, looked in there. He's like, boy. So we fished it out. That tank is deep. I mean, really deep. We got it out, put a new band on it, got it up. Everything runs perfect now. So I'm going to return the $1,500 pump that I don't need. We didn't even take it out of the box. And the air compressor for the planter, I'm going to go ahead and return that because that was $1,200 for a little Coke size air compressor. I don't need that because it was actually the connection on a wiring harness was bad. So I'm going to give John Deere back some of their expensive shit. So, yep, that's the plan for today. Get this tank off, and then I'll go return some parts. My brother, he's cleaning up some straw out of the chicken house. I got 2 hooked up to the beam planter. I had 2 transport tires on the passenger side that were dry rotted. One of them was flat, one of them not flat, but it was close. So we got up with a bunch of different tire companies. We cannot get a tire. That was Friday. We can't get the tire till either this afternoon or tomorrow morning. We went ahead and ordered 2 of them. They were $800 a piece because on the 1790 to 1631, she gets heavy if you she got any seat on her, but they're 22.5 transport tires. And the only ones we could find anywhere were 800 bucks, like $795 or something a piece. So, but at least they'll be on there. Them tires have been on that thing for quite a while. Been a many miles, so it is what it is. So hopefully we get them on there at least by tomorrow, and then I can open her up, work on her some. We got to put a new air tank on her. Of course, I got that already. And then she'll be ready to go for beans. Just check over the seat plate and stuff like that, but she'll be pretty much good to go. Then she'll be ready to put some beans in the ground. That's it so far. Good morning. Come look at this 104-day corn that I showed you last week. It has really taken off, like big time taken off. Sunrise this morning, but this corn has, look at that, it has gotten tall in a week. I don't even think it's been a week, has it? But I did come over and spray, so, but not quite up to my knee, but it's getting there. Getting there. This isn't even the tallest. I just checked the 109 day. I was going to video, but there was a lot of traffic on the road. I was parked on the shoulder. 109 day is pretty much caught up to this on 2 farms. And then I got the 105 day at the home farm that we planted early. I'll show you that. That stuff is really turned on. So it's crazy how quick this, especially when you get in here with a herbicide, because I don't do a pre-emerge. I think it's a big waste of money. A lot of people say it's not, but I feel like it is. But yeah, I came in here and sprayed, and stuff started to die. The grass and the little weeds are starting to turn yellowish. I just sprayed it. Deer, I tore it up. Crazy. It's a 100-acre field, and it goes way back, way over, way up front. But it's just deer haven. Point Woodfield isn't a deer haven anymore. I mean, they're just everywhere. It's not just the deer. The raccoons, when this corn gets up, the raccoons will tear it up. Probably worse than deer will. But it is what it is. You gotta share the earth with them, so make the best of it. Let's go up and look at the 105 day. This is the decob 115 day. I figured I'd stop by this farm and show you why I was here. It's coming up pretty good. Looks good. Got a bunch of her wheat, looks good. On this farm, but it looks good. Might as well show you the wheat while I'm here. Wheat is looking spectacular this year. Look how big those heads are. Got the backfield here. Can't really tell it, but corn is pretty. Now this is a deer haven field right here. I don't know if you can see it or not, but for me, if you look back on this hill right in front of that stand, looks like a bunch of tracks, and they've ate that corn up on that hill. So, but looks good. You can see all the deer tracks right here. See all the little dents in the ground? It's just deer tracks everywhere. And we have great big pine thickets in this area, and it's harder than hell to get in there and kill the deer. Farm's probably a mile, a little bit over a mile back. So you're gonna have a bunch of deer activity back here. Very big farm, very long farm. But the corn looks good so far. I don't know how good you can see with the sun. The sun's just coming up. It's very bright this morning. But it looks good. Happy with it. There's some of the later corn that we planted, and it's came up really nice. Not as tall as the early stuff, but that's to be expected. We do have buffer strips on this farm, and they are a nightmare for weeds. Anybody that thinks that it's worth the government paying you a couple of dollars to put buffer strips up, that's a bad idea. I gotta get back here and spray this. Now the problem with this corn is, the decob corn, is it's not Liberty linked. I've been spraying Liberty and Roundup on all the other corn. So decob isn't Liberty linked. That's why I hate planting it. Plus it doesn't run through my planter very well. It's hard to plant. The seed is more round than it is flat. Smaller seed. I do have the seed plates in that will carry any seed, but this decob seed it's horrible for me to plant. But it's also horrible because if it was Liberty linked, I could just keep right on rolling because it needs to be sprayed. And now I gotta finish spraying the Liberty linked corn, and then I gotta clean the sprayer out, and then we plant this decob here, and we got a little section across the street, and then one side of a farm across town, and then it goes all back to Liberty linked corn. But the problem is, no matter how good you clean a planter out, you'll have a kernel here and there that's stuck in a corner, and it'll end up getting planted later. So when you go back and spray Liberty on the other stuff, you have a chance of killing some decob seed that was here, there in the planter, and you'll see little corn plants dead out there. So instead of doing that, I got about a tank left to spray of Liberty linked corn, and then I got to switch to Halex and atrazine. And I actually hate spraying that because it's hard on the sprayer. If you don't clean the sprayer out every night, the atrazine will clog up your tips. It gets all in your filters, that big white gooey stuff. It's hard. Plus, if you're going to a corner of a field spraying, you get to the end of an inrow and you stop and you got to back up and your sprayer stays on a split second. Everybody that farms has seen it. The atrazine will probably kill the corn, and it'll be like a line where your sprayer was at. Kills it, turns it white or something like that. It takes forever for it to come out. Sometimes it won't. I despise that, spraying that chemical. And I despise planting. That's why I despise planting decob corn. I'm not saying decob doesn't do good. I mean, it yielded really good last year, but it didn't yield good enough that the stresses you have to go through with spraying, and then you got to spray the rest of your corn after you plant. Now, if this was the last planted corn that we did, it wouldn't be a big deal, but it wasn't. So it's kind of sucks, you know. I hate atrazine in them. I mean, I don't like what it does to your crop. But I like Liberty. I like letting the corn get up pretty good, letting the weeds grow and grasses, and then coming in there and knocking it out with that. It doesn't affect your corn whatsoever, doesn't hurt it. You stop somewhere with atrazine and your boom stays on a second too long when you're trying to get repositioned or turned, and you'll see the damage that it does. People might not say it doesn't, but you can see it. Trust me, it does. I've seen it in several other people's fields and my own. So, not a fan of it. I don't like the way it goops up your sprayer either. So, and if you're spraying and you still got a little bit of a tank left on, and you put the sprayer away for a day or two, you know, when you bring it back out, you'll have stuff clogged up with the atrazine. That white gooey stuff, it just, no matter how much you stir it and do whatever, it just settles. So I despise it. But anyway, I'm a Liberty Link guy. I like the Liberty corn. That Liberty will smoke any weed in my mind. Cleans the fields for, you know, we've sprayed it before. When you go back to harvest, fields are just as, the floor is just as clean as if you did the other stuff. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm at the front of the farm. More good looking wheat. There is 108 day across the street here. I think that field over there is 104 day. This field right here is 108 day. I just sprayed that yesterday, that corn. Now we will go up to the home farm. One side of it is 105 day, new variety I tried, and the left side is 108 day. It was later planted, so you'll see the difference in the growth. So this over here is the 108 day. This is the runway. Looks good. Spacing looks good. Everything looks good on it. And here is the 105 day, the earlier stuff that got planted. Now I've sprayed this and went ahead and fed it. See where I ran over some with the sprayer. So that is some pretty corn. Got a little bit of nitrogen burn, but that'll come out of it. Yep, I ran over that with the sprayer too. I'm trying to get in here. It is life. These are the inrows. That's why they're crooked. You get straighter. Here, let me show you a straight thing so nobody says I planted crooked. But look what that Liberty does. It smokes that stuff. I mean, just smokes it. There we go. Looks good. It is growing very quick. This stuff right here is knee high. And this is what I like about Seed Consultant corn. Look how big these leaves are at this early stage. I mean, it can really gather the water, sunlight, and everything. I mean, just, you can see where it's unwinding. Big leaves. I mean, photosynthesis right here is just, that's key. And this is why Seed Consultant yields really well. And these leaves get huge, and you know, when the corn gets up to its, I don't know, 6-7 feet tall and more, I mean, they just are gigantic. I mean, gigantic. And they gather sunlight, rainwater, dew. I mean, I really, really, really like Seed Consultant for that reason. I have yet to see another brand of corn, and we've tried everything that puts on a leaf like Seed Consultant. Now this is, and it's in every number, you know, the 104 day, 105 day, 108 day, 109 day, 113 day, 115 day. I mean, it's crazy. I think, yeah, we playing 110 day. Yeah. I mean, it's just in every number. I mean, it just carries it. I like that. I mean, it's, you know, that's my opinion, but that really makes a big difference, you know, because when I look at the Decom Pioneer, their leaves are skinny, and I mean, Seed Consultant's probably 2 times the size of them. I don't know how they got that in there, what they thought, but it definitely helps the plant, helps it big time in my opinion. So anyway, that's the end of the video. Like, subscribe, share. I'm gonna get up here and work on the bean planter, so see you later. Oh, before I go, Tire guy came up here, put 2 new tires on the planter last night. That one and that one. So, brand new tires and very expensive tires, but they'll last the life of me with this planter, I'm sure. But, yep, brand new. The other ones still had good tread on them, but they were dry rotted. So, and we keep these things put away. Like when we're not using them, they're in the barn. Nothing in the barn sits out any longer than necessary. Like if we're at a different farm or something. But other than that, we pretty much put everything away every night. So, she's, now we do have to air tank on, which I have a brand new one in the back. Around one of those little welds, it's got a little teeny rust mark and it's leaking. And the tank's so thin, when you try to weld it, it doesn't really do very well. So I got another one. We're gonna put that on. And other than that, it's just basically just going through her and making sure all the bearings are good and everything. And she should be ready to roll. Probably gonna have to replace these tires eventually. But, ready to go in about a day or two.